about my journey and my recovery. I was born into a family of addicts, so I don't think I stood much chance from the start as it was. From when we was little, we was always allowed alcohol at Christmas parties, at family do's. We all used to run around with little bottles of lager, and my cousins had put theirs down and I'd go and drink all theirs, so I kind of knew then that I liked the feeling of being different. We was brought up in pubs. When we come home from school, we used to go and find my mum in the pub to get the key off her. My uncle owned pubs, so like I'd pretend to be going down into the cellar and get some ice, and I'd always nick a few bottles. I remember one time I nicked a load of bottles of tomato juice and wondered why I didn't get drunk, but you know. And it just progressed like that really. I started smoking weed. I remember I used to babysit for this woman when I was 13, and all the lads used to come back and they'd be in the kitchen and I'd be thinking, what are they doing? Because I was always dead curious. And they were smoking crack, and that's the first time I experienced it, and I loved it. And so me and my mate, every Saturday, he worked on a milk float, we'd go and he'd managed to get us 40 quid together, and we used to, that'd be the day we smoked crack, and we used to love it. And everything progressed on from there, and from there, I had my daughter at 16 years old. They kept her in hospital for 2 weeks, and she was poorly. And even in the hospital, I'd have my partner at the time bringing me alcohol down or taking me out. I'd pretend I wanted to go for a pub lunch, knowing that I'd be able to get some shots of vodka or whatever it was from the bar. And then I was never in school. I got kicked out of a few schools. But then, once I'd had my baby, I started to me it was calming down. I was still drinking and smoking weed at this point. But I got a job as a dental nurse, and I did that for 4 years. And I think because my partner at the time had money and we had cars and a nice house, and both had like decent jobs, we was on cocaine every night because we could afford it then. And that went on for years. And then I remember he said to me, right, I'm going home. He didn't say to go and get clean because we didn't know what that was at the time. He said, I'm going home. Back to his mum. He said, I'm stopping all this. Are you? I said, why would I want to do that? So anyway, he went away for a month. He went and did religion, and he's still clean to this day through doing that. Anyway, I stayed more towards this guy who I ended up marrying, and we both started taking heroin. And then at first it was brilliant because I was like, right, I'd get Alicia to school on time, everything just looked normal, and I thought it was normal, and I thought, God, it's only a tenner a bag compared to £50 a bag. So I thought, happy days. But then things just obviously started going worse. And I ended up on a Subutex prescription at first. And then I ended up on methadone. And I remember walking out one day and my worker saying to me, how would you fancy doing a detox and a rehab? And I was like, what? I said, what's made you ask me that? And now I understand the window of opportunity. She said that's what she's saying. So I left my husband. My daughter went to my brother's, and I was off to detox. Thought it was brilliant. Compared to my second detox, I didn't really feel it. I was pissing about, there was getting vodka snuck in there, and then I goes off to this rehab. And at the time I got offered a 12-step rehab, a deep rehab or a therapeutic, and I thought, easiest route, chose therapeutic, wish I didn't. I was drinking in the rehab at the weekends because it weren't staffed. And everything just went on. It was like a holiday home or something, I think I thought it was. I had the the rehab romance that everybody does. I think you find the one, but that obviously didn't work out. And then, so I leave there, relapsed, went straight back to my hometown, straight back to my husband. And within about 4 or 5 days, it was like I'd just been to the shop and back. I was straight back in everything. And we lived in a flat then at this time, and I couldn't use her because my daughter was there. So I kind of drew to this woman, and I thought I was different than her because I had teeth, she didn't have teeth. I had my kid, she didn't have a kid. She was sleeping with strangers, I was sleeping with people I knew. So I kind of separated myself thinking, I'm not actually that bad. She was injecting in her neck, I was injecting in my arm. And obviously as a result of injecting as well, I caught Hep C. And everything was just, it was too much. And I remember ringing my mum one day and saying, will you put my train fare in? Because my mum lives down here. She moved down here away from me and my brother because we're both in recovery. And then she's like, no, it's a con, Louise, you're just going to spend the money. I said, Mum, I promise you I won't. And I come down, and all I come down with was a 2-week methadone prescription. I didn't have nothing. All I had was the clothes I had on, and my mum had to bin them because they was absolutely hanging. I think I'd had them on for about a week and a half or something. So I comes down, get stable on my prescription, and then I started getting into recovery because I didn't really know what recovery was. I remember I'd done a ramp group in Oldham a couple of years back, and that kind of put it into my head. And there was one lesson on about the bank card and about you skipping past this lady. If you think you're scoring, you're happy, and then when you find out your money's not in, and then you walk in. And I thought, that's just like me. And I identified. So when I come down here, I do mutual aid meetings, and I started listening to people. And for me, it's the unity what keeps my recovery ongoing. I did the Deep program with Acorn, which was the best thing I ever did for my recovery, and I don't think nothing can top that, really. The therapist, Steve, has helped me so much. Told me, basically, when you go in, it's like, you'll think you're up here and he'll just smash you down into pieces and let you know. But everything he's saying, I used to go on thinking, twat. But everything he said was right, you know, and about the relationships, because I still thought, I'll be right, I know what I'm doing. And, you know, the reality, I didn't know what I was doing. And luckily, I got out of it in time before I got any feelings. I've had 2 relationships since I've been down here, not one of them have worked. And I don't think it's anything to do with them. I think it's when they say you've got to learn to love yourself. I used to think, I do love myself, but obviously it's inside. And when I first stopped using drugs, I found it hard with my daughter. I didn't know what food she liked, I didn't know what size clothes she was. All mad stuff like, it was like we was both put in the house together, and it was like, oh yeah, right, you know, one of them awkward moments. And I'd go back into the treatment, and I'd be like, oh, I'm going to strangle my daughter, and he'd explain, and it'd always come straight back to me, you know, and I'll be forever grateful for all that, the knowledge that I used there. And Clinton as well, he has helped me so much. And now, like, to fill my days up, I'm on the lived experience team. And, you know, it was funny the other week I gave someone some advice and a text, and I had to read it back to myself. I was like, God, have I just said that? And my daughter was like, the other day, when I give someone else some advice, she said, God, Mum, I can't believe how much you've changed. You know, now she can be a normal teenager. She used to have to sleep with my methadone under her pillow so that my partner didn't drink it. She'd never be able to have a phone longer than a day, 2 max, it being cash generators. Just the difference of my life today, I said just through doing recovery. It is hard graft, but it's so rewarding. I keep thinking to myself, there's going to be a crash. But then I thought, if I keep doing what I'm doing, why should there be a crash? You know, I always said as well, if anything ever happened, that was my reservation. If anything ever happened to any of my kids, that would be it I would use. And I think about 8 weeks ago, I gave birth at 6 months to a little boy, and he went straight to heaven. And you know what? I had all my friends and family and support all around me. And you know what? I didn't use. And it still amazes me to this day that I didn't use on that, because I always thought something like that would. And I remember I just went straight to my therapist and I just broke down. And you know, that is the only time I cried. And so then I'm thinking to myself, have I got a heart? What's wrong with me? But it's not, it's just I'm learning how to deal with things. Live life on life's terms, as they say. And it's just through everybody in recovery. They've all had the little input, but I'll never ever forget them for the rest of my life. And I hope this journey continues. Am I nearly done? A few more. I hope this journey continues. I went to get into college last week, and not done nothing, never completed school. So they had me do a functioning skills test, and I've got like the brain of a 12-year-old, so I've got to start from the bottom basically. But I've given myself a 10-year goal. I want to be a clinical psychologist. So I have to do my GCSEs, all that, to get on the higher access course to get into sociology and psychology. And at first I was thinking, God, people think, what's she trying to do that for? But you know, I know if I carry on doing this and putting the work in, everything I set my heart on is achievable. I know for a fact it is. And anybody else, if you set your heart to it and you're doing what's good. And I live my life by a programme. And that helps me on a daily. It's the start of that helped me stick through deep, because I kept thinking God's got a plan for me, you know, and I've got a vision of God and everything now. And yeah, I pray every morning. Still, if I went back to my hometown, I wouldn't tell them that I pray, because they'd think I'd lost the plot or something. But you know, I don't use drugs today. I don't wake up with that on my mind. My mum has got her daughter back. My daughter's got her mum back. My brother is also in recovery. It's my birthday this month, and it'll be my first clean birthday in 22 years. And my daughter's 16 this year, and that'll be the first time she's ever seen her mum clean. And that is all through doing recovery and working on my recovery. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I can't go and put the TV on and stuff like that. I have to think, right, pray first, what's happening in that day, and keep it in the day. Try and keep it in the day. That's why today when I got asked to share, I'm glad it happened now, because I'd have been obsessing all week over it, writing a speech out, I think, right, I'll say that, I'll put that in. But you know, I think and I was nervous, but when you come up here, and you have got lived experience, it just it's just natural, innit? So, right, I think that is my time, and thank you.